Why has dating become so difficult in 2024? Think about my parents' generation, it was a little complicated because I'm from India, and at that time they had arranged marriages. Well, they still do have arranged marriages, but at that time they didn't have many options, and they didn't even have the say, right? They didn't even have the possibility to, especially the women, they didn't have this possibility to select the partner that they want for their life. But also many men didn't have that option because it was the family who would decide for them. But as we progress, as we move forward, thank God we have the option, the choice to make and to select the kind of person we want to spend our lives with. But, 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 because we are living in a world of social media, in a world of constant technology, constant, everything is on the app, everything is moving fast. You want to monitor your sleep, you have an app for that. You want to meditate, you have an app for that. You want to order something, furniture, whatever, you have an app for that. You want to date, you have an app for that. You want to get married, you also have an app for that. So the more options that we have, the more confused we tend to become. Options are a great thing, but sometimes it can also be a problem, like our generation is facing right now. The accessibility paradox. We have so many people on social media. We have so many people we meet daily, or maybe, you go to the gym, you meet someone else. At work, you meet some other people. You have dating apps, so you have so many options over there. So everything is very accessible through a swipe away, literally. And that is what makes profiles on dating apps, literally, if you are on any of the dating apps, get these profiles as just mere images. We don't even acknowledge the fact that there's an actual real person behind this profile. We just tend to, I guess, the initial criteria is always the looks, regardless of however we say. Applications like Tinder and Bumble and Hinge and, all of these applications promote you go left or right, you swipe left or right based on the person, how he looks. So you can't really tell much about, maybe he's an amazing person. Just by the looks of it does not mean that it's going to be a great person. Just because the picture is not as per your aesthetics, that does not mean that the person is going to be not a nice person. He can have many other great qualities, which are also very important to have in a person. More options we have, we've started to forget that there is an actual real person behind this application, behind this picture, and we just tend to match, unmatch, swipe left, and just block, literally, everyone. Another thing is, I guess, choice anxiety. My generation, our generation, is more anxious than our parents. A simple example I would give you in my family. Now, obviously, it's way different. But from my extended family, when we used to talk about anxiety, I'm anxious today, or I'm having, sometimes like on PMS, right, premenstrual syndrome, when I'm having these mood swings, or I'm feeling very low or anxious, just when I'm PMSing. I would tell me back in India when I was going out with them or something, they'd be like, these are all these fancy words that you know now. Back in the day, we didn't even know what was happening to us. And the same thing was about anxiety. That, this is your generation that has put so many different words to it. We didn't even know what we are going through back in the day. So obviously they think it's, one side you could say it's good that you don't know what you're going through, but it's very important to know what you're going through to be able to solve it. So our generation has a little more anxiety because of so many things, right? Constant moving climate change, look at the weather that is there right now outside, the inflated prices of housing, medical and Medicare, there's so many things. And then on top of that, there's another problem of like finding a partner. 80% of people right now are single. All the stats over here show how many people are more and more selecting a single lifestyle. There is absolutely nothing in being single. I guess, from back in the day, we've always been told that, if you are single, then maybe there's something wrong with you, or you're not fulfilling what the society has expected out of you. Choice anxiety is when we have so many options. Maybe we match with someone on Tinder, right? We have a good conversation with them, things are going fine, things start to move forward and all of this, but then suddenly you meet someone else and you're like, oh my God, he is so much better than him. And you're like, okay, I'm just gonna keep this person on hold and I'm gonna just explore what's happening with him. And then with him, maybe he's not that good. Then you're like, okay, I'm talking to someone else online, or I've met someone else at this dance class who's so cool. Are constantly saying and seeing that, okay, maybe there's this anxiety that, okay, maybe if I settle with him, maybe it's not the best option because maybe there's someone better available. There's always this better option available. Simple example, you go to an ice cream shop, go to this gelateria, and they're just giving you these boxes, and in these 3 boxes you have 3 flavors: chocolate, mango, and pistachio. So this is what's going to come out of these flavors of these boxes. But then you go to this other gelateria and there's a surprise box where there are more than 25 flavors. So you're like, okay, maybe I could do a combination of mango with raspberry, or maybe I could do chocolate with vanilla ice cream. Okay, 3 flavors, easier to put your mind to. 25 flavors. Wow, I'm confused. I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that. So that is what our generation is going through: choice anxiety. Another thing, from speaking to my friends, researching about it, reading about it, many people are exhausted of going on dates. One thing that you have seen is that we are all just entertaining each other. You go out on a date and you go out on a date, you initial first date, the person has to say something to you to impress you. The person has to come up with a joke, or they have to come up with an anecdote, or they have to say something that can put a mark on you, or that can leave a mark on you, or you have to say something, you have to look a particular way, or you have to do something. We have so many pressures, so much of pressure that we're putting on ourselves. Actually trying, and you don't entertain, someone wants to go out and do something, you're not in the mood, you're like, okay, and then option is ruled out. It's just like we are just entertaining each other, and when we are not being entertained, or we are not entertaining, the options are getting ruled out, because we are, again, remember, 3 ice cream flavors versus 25 ice cream flavors. Actually trying some things that we can do to make everyone's lives easier. Maybe you go out with someone, you date someone, and that doesn't work out, or even the initial dates when nothing's really happened, you're exploring each other, you're trying to talk and see, nothing happens. But then we just rule out the option, we block, we unfriend, or whatever. You got to do what you have to do for your own mental health. But the fact that when we just completely ignore, it's okay if it doesn't work out romantically, but we still need to acknowledge that they're a real living person. You have to respect the fact that there is an inherent value and that of that person, and that should not be changed in any shape or form just because you didn't click with them. We need to acknowledge that the other person is human, and the other person also needs a bit of talking, or just a bit of respect that we are not giving to each other. Don't ghost. Communicate honestly. If you don't like the person, it's okay. The first few dates were fine, but then you think that it didn't really click, that is also fine. But after that, don't just disappear on that person. That's a little bit of, me coming from India, I'm like, oh my God, karma. But it's not only just karma, it's also just basic empathy and basic respect that you have for the other person as a normal person, as a human being, right? So don't ghost. Communicate honestly. Hey, I had a really good time with you, but this is not what I'm really looking for right now. If you're not looking for anything serious, then make it very clear. I think we could be best as friends, but I don't think I want to explore something more because I'm not looking for that right now, or I'm not looking for that in you right now. Just communicate and get the mystery out of the box. Women get told this a lot, specifically, that, oh, your standards are too high. Lower your standards, otherwise you're not going to find anyone. Don't do that. Don't do that. I know it can be really hard over there at times, from everywhere that you're reading and seeing and meeting everyone. Yes, I have a lot of admiration for a lot of my girlfriends, a lot of my friends who are like my girlies from like the longest times, who specifically the ones who are single, who have never in that weak moment just decided to be with someone because they just wanted to be with someone. We decide to be with someone out of loneliness, out of the fear of not finding someone, and out of just comfort, right? Many relationships that are not going so well, they continue to be in such relationships because it's also comfort. So don't lower your standards. Stick to what you think you deserve, because you deserve the best, and you should get the best, and you will get the best. In the meantime, till that happens, don't work yourself around so much about it. Just focus on yourself. I read something the other day where it said that if you don't know what your next step is going to be, where this uncertain life is heading, what is your next step in love, what is your next step in career, just focus on yourself. Go to that Pilates class, do yoga, take up that pottery class, I don't know, do an online course, start up a side hustle, do something. Just keep upgrading upgrading yourself as a person, as someone that you would look up to in the next 5 years and be like, okay, I'm proud of her or I'm proud of him. Don't lower your standards. Know what you want and it will come to you. Don't lower your standards because, out there society tells you that as a woman, as a single woman, if you're too picky, your taste is too high, your standards are too high, you are too intimidating. Well, intimidating, too picky, high standards, whatever it is, that is who you are, and own it and know it and be proud of it. And I'm so sure someone will come along the way while you are just focusing on yourself and upgrading yourself. There are so many rules that the society has created. If you show up if you really show what you really feel, then you are too clingy. If you want to follow up, you can be called out as desperate. You want to directly ask the person where they are headed. You want this relationship. You really want the relationship. So there are so many labels and terms that we get labeled as, but stick to your morals. It doesn't matter that other person takes it in a good manner or not. Well, if he doesn't take it in a good manner, then it's never really meant. It was never really meant for, it was never really headed that way. Stick to your morals in terms of the values that you believe in. Stick to your morals, and if you think that the other person does not fulfill that, or you think that it's not something that you are finding it, then be honest and communicate through it. Express what you are feeling. Don't try to be into this so-called societal dating game where, if you express yourself too much, you can be called out as too emotional, right? If you don't express yourself too much, then you are cool. Don't show your emotions. No, please show your emotions. Please bear yourself out there, bear your emotions out there, literally. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, express it. If you are not feeling fulfilled, express it. If you feel like you really, really like someone, also please express it. Maybe that person also likes you back, but we are also stuck in our head with this, should I not? If I send this text, maybe I come across as a little desperate. If you think you're going to come across as desperate, then come across as desperate. But at least you will be sitting with a clear head and a peaceful mind, knowing in yourself that you tried and you sent what you had to send. Every time, release those emotions from your body, because the more those emotions sit inside your body unexpressed, they turn into other things like, pain over here, pain over there, anxieties, and so on and so forth. Another thing is guard against your loss. Very uncomfortable in situations which are uncertain, when we don't know what's happening. Try to become comfortable in those gray areas. Try to become uncomfortable with not knowing where this is heading. Don't just get into a relationship because you are very uncomfortable in being in the gray areas. Guard your losses and try to get comfortable in those gray areas, because it is in those gray areas that you will really realize what you like, what you don't like. Sit with those difficult emotions that you feel. Uncertain moments of the getting to know stages. This relationship, just don't get into an monogamous relationship by default because you have to be mutually exclusive. Know if that's the person you even want to get into a monogamous relationship at all with. Well, this is something that I have never done. Since I write and I'm writing something related to dating, I always think it's very important to keep a tab of your emotions, right? So even if you go out on a date, maintaining a diary is so good. Or even if you are like me, you want to type it out, all the writing is really good, do it. Keep a tab on, you met this person, how you felt when you met that person. After a few dates, how you felt. After those few dates, what are you feeling? Is this what you expected from that date? Okay, if it's not, then communicate. Is he willing to give you what you are expecting from that person? Yes, then okay, you work around it. If he's not, then you also know how to work around it. It's very important to keep a tab of how it started, how it's going, how you would like for it to go. Keep a tab on those dates. Keep a tab on those emotions. Keep a tab on your emotions, mainly. A few lines. What did you do on the date? What did you do on the date with that person? What did he say that made you laugh? What about his presence made you feel happy? What is it that you were feeling, right? Was there any touch, physical contact? Was there any flirting? What was it? Those little in-between details really help you in looking back and taking better decisions. And have fun. tend to put so much pressure on ourselves. The person we have to meet or the kind of person we would like to meet, and when it doesn't really work out, you're like, oh damn, what's gonna happen? What is happening even? So don't when you go out on a date, don't go with this pressure on yourself, right? That the society has put on you, your friends have put on you, your family has put on you, you yourself have put on you, has also put on yourself, right? So remove that pressure. Have fun in the process, because when you are having fun, it is only then that you will, make mistakes. You will learn, you will know what you want, what you like, what you don't like, and eventually you will become a master at it. Well, at least you'll get better at it, right? So don't, even if you get into relationships at that point you don't know about, well, it's ideal not to get into relationships that you're not very sure about. But if you think you want to do that, well, he might not be Mr. Right, but he might just be your Mr. Right now. Right? So have fun. Enjoy the dates, enjoy the procedure, enjoy the stages, enjoy the time that you are single, because it's beautiful to be single and it is so much of fun where you're focusing on yourself, you're doing things for yourself, you're going and meeting new people, you're also flirting with so many people, or maybe one, depending. You can do whatever you want. So enjoy those single stages of your life as well. Don't take it as this kind of a pressure that you're putting on yourself all the time. Make sure you're not feeling lonely or desperate or, still recovering from a relationship and putting yourself out there. Take your time. Take your time to process your emotions. Take your time to feel all of those feelings that you've been feeling all along. And use this time to meet new people. Not everything is supposed to turn out to be, not everyone is supposed to turn out to be the love of your life, right? Maybe that person takes you to the best restaurant that you've never even discovered. Maybe that person can teach you an emotion that you did not know that you could experience, right? Maybe he or she enlightens you on a perspective that you never really knew. Don't expect that the love of your life is going to be that person. Well, if you're lucky and if it works out, then, it might even be. But just enjoy the process. Get rid of this pressure. Get rid of, these anxieties. Get rid of this choice anxiety and all of these things. Just enjoy the process. And treat the other person like a real person as well, because even they are perhaps experiencing what you are experiencing. Even they have the same fears and anxieties that you have, and maybe they are in the same boat as you too. So a little bit of empathy, a little bit of vulnerability, a little bit of fun ain't no hurting no one.